Welcome back, Kent Adams and Sulani Madsen on Spokane Talks Online. Live today.
Yeah.
Are we having fun?
Yes.
Yeah,
I made it.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
And,
actually,
and
that
the
I made it.
reason you say that is
Is that my husband was getting ready to go on the road for 4 months with the 270 head of goats, and we've been madly packing all of the gear in the trailer and the pantry. Yeah. So
yeah.
we're getting them loaded this morning.
So he herds goats, not cats.
He does
So
not herd cats.
Okay, I think that's probably easier.
The goats are much more responsive to the dog than the cat is.
I would bet. We have our weekly guest from McNeice Wheeler. Almost forgot the first name, but that's Ryan. We don't care.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
No worries.
Alison Erickson, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Thanks for having
We
me.
want to kind of continue what we talked about before a little
Yeah.
bit, and that's in divorces and so forth, a parenting plan, and sometimes those need to be changed or updated.
Yep. So we call them parenting plan modifications.
Okay.
And if you get divorced, you're going to have a parenting plan in place if you have children. You might have a parenting plan in place if you were never married but have children, if the court was involved by both parties voluntarily or by one party. But a lot of times a change to that plan is necessary. And so we can get involved and talk to clients about kind of what the legal standard is for doing that, and how big the modification is. So if it's just a minor modification to a parenting plan, then you can
What
usually...
qualifies as minor?
So normally we're talking about the number of overnights that are being adjusted with one parent. So if it's 24 or more overnights in a calendar year, then that qualifies as a major modification to the parenting plan. If it's fewer than that, then it's a minor modification. So it's a different legal standard. So the process for doing that, if you want to actually go through a major modification, you can always do that by agreement. The parties can sit down and say, you know, the parenting plan that we maybe put in place when our child was 2-3 years old isn't really workable now
Right.
that obviously, your
As
lives
they turn
change.
12.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Sure.
it's very fluid. Once they get older, activities come into play. People might move. Spouses get remarried. All kinds of things can happen. So by agreement, you can obviously change the plan and do that via a court order. But sometimes one parent wants a change and maybe the other parent doesn't. So at that point, that's when you need to go to court and request that change. And you'd be trying to tell the court that there's been what they call a substantial change in circumstance from the date that your original plan was put in place. So you need to be able to show the court something has changed other than me wanting a change to the plan.
Okay. And what about children or a child getting older, too, as they reach 14, 15, 16? Do they get more of a voice into what's going on?
That's exactly what can the child take the parents to
We-
court
you-
and say,
what-
you guys need to change this?
Get your act
No,
together.
So Washington's a little bit different than, say, Idaho, where
Okay.
in Idaho, a child can actually, their opinion can carry some weight. In Washington, it's a little bit different. If there's a situation in which the child needs to, their wishes need to be demonstrated to the court, you might have a guardian ad litem who comes in, and they're basically making a recommendation to the court based on the best interest of the child. But as a child gets older, until they're 18, they do not get to decide where they're going to live. So that's a question we get a lot.
But the child can go to the guardian ad litem and raise that question?
Normally, it would be either one or two of the parents or the court saying,
Okay.
we need a guardian because of whatever circumstances
Okay.
present in this particular case. We need someone to come
And
in.
first step is to protect the child, of
Absolutely,
course.
and evaluate various factors in different home environments and tell the court what exactly we should do in this situation, what's going to be in the best interest of the child. But the child does not get to go to the court and say, well, I want to live with mom or I want to live with dad.
Sure.
They're shielded from the proceedings mostly.
Okay, and probably for a lot of right
Absolutely.
reasons, too.
Right.
Because I'm going to guess that some parents use the children as a target
Yeah, the
back
courts-
at the other parent.
Courts are very adamant about not involving children, whatever their age, in
Okay.
the court proceedings, not telling them what's going on, not making them aware that there's conflict. So, and that's written in the parenting plans as a
Okay.
guideline.
What advice do you have for folks that may be looking at a divorce or separation? How can we move people in to resolve these issues a little more upfront than bringing on board a lot of attorneys and fighting it, which only costs money?
Absolutely.
You know?
Everyone loses when that's kind of the route you have to take.
Right,
and obviously sometimes circumstances necessitate that.
Sure.
But we are always at our office big advocates of mediation, and you don't have to have attorneys to do that. You can be
Okay.
represented. But in that case, you are basically using a mediator who is going between the two of you, and it's your way of crafting an agreement about what your parenting plan is going to look like, maybe what your child support's going to be, how your assets and whatnot are going to be divided in a divorce. And because when it comes to your kids and your family and things like that, you know them better than a court does. So this is your opportunity to sit down with someone and decide what's going to work for you, because you don't want to end up in court and walk out with maybe a parenting plan or something that kind of both of you are like, well, this isn't quite what we wanted.
Right.
We would have decided this differently.
Right.
So it's your opportunity to do that, and we think it works really well.
Yeah. Other question?
Oh, I think that there are some people that get the impression that divorce is an easy answer.
Yeah.
And don't realize that you will have to work together more than you probably had for the.
That's a
Yes.
good point. That's a good point.
Yep.
And you
And,
have a court overseeing
Right,
it
with the
as
court
well.
overseeing it. So if you couldn't get along before, it's not really doesn't really solve that problem.
Yeah,
You still have
that's
to
a
get
good
along.
point.
Now is
if
the
you
time
have
to make
kids,
a
you
smooth
still have.
transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in Washington, one of the requirements for getting divorced is generally to attend a co-parenting class, a focusing on the children workshop about how to co-parent effectively, how to make decisions like that. So they want you to be educated on that and make sure that you've taken that class before your divorce is finalized.
Right. Well, let me ask this question. If people have more questions for you, you're with what firm now?
Yep, I'm with McNeice Wheeler. We're located in Spokane Valley, so
Okay.
we're happy to help.
Way out in the
I
valley?
I know. We're not too far out there.
I know.
But
I have
yeah.
to stop rolling my eyes when you talk.
I-
I just realized I'm getting a really bad habit.
Well,
of
I'm
that.
thinking of our
Since this
next
is
guest
video.
who will probably cover some of the things going on in the valley. So
Yes.
that's kind of what was my introduction to Pia, who comes on next.
Perfect.
But phone number and website.
We are 509-928-4141, so if anyone wants to get a hold of us, and our website is McNeiceWheeler.com. So feel free to look us up. All of our attorneys are on the website, and you can kind of read our bios and get a feel for what we're about.
Now, do you tweet and stuff as much as Ryan does?
I am not much of a tweeter,
Okay.
if that's how
Facebook?
I do have Facebook,
Okay.
yes. Ryan is kind of our social media guru, so
Yeah.
I
we
think
kind
you're a
of let him-
tweeter if you're serious, and if you're just otherwise you're a Twitterer.
yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what the
Okay.
term is.
I'm not sure either. I'm not. Ask Ryan, okay?
I will.
I'm sure he knows.
He's well-versed, yeah.
Allison, thank you very much. Good to have you
you.
here again.
Absolutely.
And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Pia from the Spokesman Review after this.
Today, I will spark an idea.
Today, I'll help a student uncover